the joinery guru himself. Good morning, Mr. Dare. How are we?
Morning, Luke. Yeah, I'm all good. Yourself?
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you. I think everyone knows you by now, but for those that don't, just quickly introduce yourself. Bit of background, please.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Owen Dare. I think most people do know me, certainly on here today anyway. Been in the industry 40 years, started as a carpenter joiner, time served, advanced crafts in cities and guilds. From there, worked with a joinery company for a number of years as an apprentice, working through, they used to build their own homes as well as do joinery. They used to do boat building, they do lots of things, which are always very interesting when you're starting up. Left that business after I think about 7 years, went to work on site up in London, chasing the money like most people do in that time of your life. Worked through the sites, ended up taking over management of site for 10 years, working through companies like Cementation, Kia and people like that, doing large builds. Went back into joinery really to be more nearer my home, having families and all those things to change your perspective on life. And went to work for a few local joineries and then got poached by Mumford & Wood to work for them, mainly to go into the office because I'd been taking management skill courses and various surveying courses to do a different avenue within my work field. So they poached me from one of my companies and I started there as the shop floor foreman, working my way through to shop floor manager, all the way up to technical director. And I was there for 20 years, turning that business with the help of the other directors from 4 million up to 12 million at one point turnover, making windows and doors with small kit and large kit. And obviously they're very well known on the industry. And then left there to start this venture that we've been on with the Joinery Network for the last 6 years, and also as a consultant, helping joiners become more efficient with productivity, manufacturing methods.
Awesome. So today we want to just touch on our Lignum Entrance Doors. So
Yes.
I guess let's start off. What are Lignum Entrance Doors from a construction point of view? Because it's something I get asked a lot how it's constructed. So
Well, I'll try and share my screen, Luke, if I can.
yeah, at the bottom.
Hopefully, it'll allow me to share the whole entire screen, and I'll be able to show you the construction. Can you see that? All good?
Yep.
Yeah. So you've got here on the left-hand side is the basic construction of a door slab. That's made up of, as you can see here, of solid timber rails, and these solid timber rails are 150 mil across on the stiles and 240 top and bottom. They can be made in various timber types. It can be made pine, it can be made in sapele and and also oaks. It's then got insulation in the core. That's what we get our U values from, and then we got a 9mm ply inlay inside the timber frame section that's got a 1mm aluminium skin in it to help for stability, but also to help for security. So when they're trying to cut the product, they get to the alley and obviously can't get any further. Then it's got 6 layers of veneers book matched across vertically and horizontally to keep the stability and stop them from twisting and bowing. To allow you also to put grooves and V grooves and make them look like T&G type doors. And you can see the materials you can use up here. Shen is more like a white sapele, so it's very sort of sapele grain, but in a yellowy color. Oaks, mahoganies, HDF we don't tend to use really, but those are the 3 we use mostly. Is the oak and the Shen, because Shen stains really well. Can look like oak as well without the cost of oak, but we can put oak veneers on there and we can have oak rails. So that's the makeup of the door really. You can see the U value here for the 58. We could go to a 68 and get a lower U value. So the options are there.
Perfect. And obviously, just quickly from a security point of view, I've heard you say if every door that you tested was as easy as that, you'd still have some hair, I believe.
Well, when you look at you think of a slab, there's no rails, there's no joints, there's no glue, other than the layers of glue, clearly. So there's nothing to break down. There's no panels fitted. There's nothing really that the test slab can actually attack. If the lock's stable and the hinges are the right hinges, it's the most boringest test I've ever had, which in testing circumstances, boring is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of that slab, out of that makeup of slab, we've created a pretty vast range of product. Can you give us an overview of the different styles that we can achieve with that slab, please?
Yeah, I'm just going to stop sharing for me because it's all gone a bit weird. 1 minute. 1 minute. Maybe that'll help. So it just went a bit funny then. So I'm just going to see if I can share and show you the actual Lignum brochure. I'll share that. All right, you can see that? Yes.
We can indeed. Well done.
Right. So this is our Lignum kit brochure. We also do a fully factory finished brochure. We can make very traditional doors. We can make contemporary doors. We can make T&G type doors. I'm going to just sort of whiz down to the basic designs without going into the detail totally. So if I get here, so this is a very contemporary design. So we can obviously machine V grooves in there horizontally or vertically. We can do radiuses. We can pretty much make a door look what it wants to look. We have set glass sizes that we buy in from Regal Lead. All of the ornate glasses that they come with these doors, leaded, diamond cuts, frosted, even with numbers in and names in and so forth. So that's the sort of contemporary range. These are the glass options. Some of the glass options, there's quite a vast range that you can choose. And clearly you can use your own glass if you want to. You don't have to use their glass options. These are the T&G type doors, very traditional sort of cottage style door here, and more contemporary type products here. We can have pull handles, you can have lever handles, you can have escutcheons for heritage type locks. And then you can go down to the more traditional products. If I get down the bottom here, so you've got very traditional doors. So the 6 panel, the 4 panel, with glass, without glass, all different types of glass designs. Colors, obviously, we can do dual finish and one color finish. All of these highly tested, highly designed, and anything outside of the scope of these products will be considered and machined, but they'll be just treated as a special rather than a standard. But most of these cover what we would sell. We do flat panels. When we say flat panels, this is a collection mold inside the panel, and the door is actually still the door. It's not actually a panel, so you've got loads of stability, no movement with issues with panels. We do the full raised and fielded panels, and we have 2 options with the raised and fielded panels. So we can either put a panel in there in tricoya, or we can actually cut a board in the shape of a panel and bond it to the face, so that actually, again, it's then a solid door slab, and it looks like everything that you would see on in a traditional door. And the benefits of it, certainly if you're doing things like black doors, is no crack lines, no heat issues with movement. You get the stability. One of the biggest problems my customers have who use these doors is on making their own doors is that they have issues with panels moving, cracking, bowing, and it costs them loads to have to go and replace all of those things. So by doing the door slab, it takes it away from for the concerns. You get a quality product that's going to be stable in its life, and it's very, very secure.
Perfect. So obviously you touched on kits and fully finished, but just explain quickly that, well, obviously a fully finished door is pretty obvious, but explain the difference between a kit. What is a kit form? What is fully finished? What are they getting?
Okay, I'll just come off of that. So on a kit door, you would get a door to your design. So you give us the height and the width. We machine our Lignum profile around that door. It'll have the hinges all positioned in the correct 4-hinge position, equal in the 2 middle ones. It'll have a lock of your choice. So if it's a heritage lock or an AV4 or a Thunderbolt lever lock, that door lock will be all machined in with the handle positions and everything on it. It'll have a groove in the front for the weather drip. The weather drip will be produced and sent with it. And the aperture, if it's got glass in it, will have a collection mold on the outside, fully bonded, fully fitted, ready to go. The inside cloaking off bead will be made as a picture frame, ready to fit when the glass is fitted. So literally, as soon as it turns up to your site, all you've got to do is either make the frame yourself if you've got the Lignum tooling, or we could send you the frame and you haven't got to worry about putting it in your factory at all. It just literally goes straight to the paint shop and gets painted, assembled, and glazed. It literally takes it away from your manufacturing process, which means then you haven't got to worry about breaking down your machines and putting it through a bespoke element, which generally these doors are.
Excellent. And they're fully finished, obviously. Everything's done for you.
It's basically turns up, and we can either send it to a site of your choice, or we can send it to your factory to deliver for you to install. But it's all fully factory finished, so it'll have the same 3-coat paint system on it that you would expect. We work with Remisand and Technos mainly are the two that we work with. And they give a good quality finish. Everything has to be. The only thing I say, when you send it as a door kit, they need to make sure they seal the end grain and everything fully, because you do need to do that. But we go through that process with you when you first come on board.
Sure.
So when it comes fully factory finished, it'll come as a door as your design. As you saw in that brochure, it'll be completely finished. The hardware on the outside will be sent loose, obviously, for transportation, but everything else will be boxed up and protected so that you can't you get a door that turns up in its right condition.
Excellent. And so from a joinery manufacturer's point of view, who are already making doors and windows, why should they not make a Lignum door? Why should they not make an entrance door and use the Lignum door? What are the advantages to that manufacturer?
Well, I think the perception is that the first thing a joiner will look at is, what's the price? Can I make any money out of it? And that's probably the wrong way to look at it. Yes, clearly you want to make a markup and make some profit on it, and they can still do that, because the prices that we're selling at are very keen, and they're allowing them to make a markup price on it. But the main focus is what we look at. An entrance door is always a buggeration factor. It's always a one-off. It's never the same every time. You don't go to a whole street and make the same door along the whole street. Everybody's got their own designs, own colors, own types of collection molds, own glass designs. So you're taking all of that pain out of considering that, and all the front end of how you talk to the customer and decide what it is. But the other thing is, actually, if you put it through the factory and you get a joiner to do that from scratch, it's probably going to be about 3 days before he's ready to go into the paint shop, maybe even 4, depending what machines you've got.
I've had, on my travels, when I've asked that question, I've had anywhere between 2 days and 7 days.
Yeah, it really does depend on who's making it. I mean, if you say 2 days, well, we know off of the Joinery Network products, we can make 14 to 16 windows a day off of a single spindle. So if we say that as a footprint, we're making 14 windows, a double casement, selling at £800 per window. You times that by 3 days at 42, that's £33,000 worth of windows you can make in the time it takes you to make one door. So why would you put that door in your factory and take that joiner away from the volume sales for the sake of a door that you sell for probably £3,500 maybe, and make a profit of, I don't know, probably about £400 or £500?
Yeah.
So the main focus here is take it out your workshop, because it's always going to be, it's got to have these collection molds. I've got to get the customer to have this design. It's going to slow down. I've got to machine all those parts out. I may not have the tooling for it. I've got to break it down because I'm making windows, or I'm doing staircases, or whatever it is. I've got to break my machines down to do this one-off door that I'm going to make a small profit on. But the door will get me the house full of windows. So make the house full of windows and send the door in pre-done, or as a kit.
Yeah. So if you've got a kit, if you've got a kit that turns up and it's just through the spray shop and then assemble, so you've gone from, let's say, 3 days, if they're making it themselves to do the process. If you get a kit turn up and it's gone through the spray shop and then assembled, how much time is that?
Well, the spray shop's going to be the slowest part of that process, because you'll put a coat of paint on ×3. You'll allow probably 2 hours of drying time in between that, but the actual labour is not any more than sort of 20 minutes per spraying. And then the assembly process, you should be able to assemble a door in an hour at best, realistically, and glazing, if it's one aperture, depending on size. So you're probably, you're talking maybe 3 hours of actual labour.
So you've gone from 3 days to 3 hours, and every other bit of time.
Those 3 days I was allowing for was actually just machining and gluing up. That wasn't even adding on that extra days. So realistically, to make a whole door for anybody in a factory from start to finish would be 5 days minimum.
Right. Well, okay. So within, obviously, you're your calculation of the windows is on the conservative side then in that case. So
Very conservative, yeah. I'm just because there will be people that can make them quicker because they've got different machinery. Some have got window lines, but this is very few. It's going to be very few big companies out there, you know. That, but even the guys have got CNC. If you've got a program, a one-off door, somebody's got to write that program, make sure it operates correctly, put the door on, machine all the door. Again, you're breaking that machine down for a one-off door when you can continually have it set up for your windows. Because if you're doing a slab door yourself, you're going to have to put the pods all on, position all the pods ready to actually clamp the door on, make sure they're away from all the apertures that you're cutting. When you're doing windows, you'll be putting on your clamps. Your clamps will be on there, so you've got to take all that off for one door to go back to windows afterwards. Why would you bother when you can actually buy the door? Provided you can make a profit off the door, and you clearly can, you just got to make sure that whatever the door price comes in from us, you mark it up to whatever profit you want, whether it's a 40% gross margin, and then you sell it on. And now, obviously, there'll be negotiation between you and your client, and the client might want a discount where you do the discount that suits that, but it still allows you to make all the windows at the high price that you are.
Absolutely. No, that's brilliant. So I guess in a nutshell, that's Lignum Entrance Doors. So if people have more questions for you, which I'm sure they will, they can jump all over you when we go back to the floor. But for now, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks, Luke.
Cheers.